So this is lecture 47. In the last class we have seen the elementary synthesis procedure, that how to synthesize the network if the network function is given to us. So for example, if network function is given to us, so what is our aim? Our aim should be to synthesize, maybe this network function may be in the form of impedance or admittance. So suppose this impedance is given to us, that is driving point impedance if it is. Then you break up this total impedance into the number of impedances, that is Z1 of S, Z2 of S, Z3 of S, which will be simple, and then realize it, right? If the individual impedances will be given to us, then we can realize it very easily. But if the impedance will be in the form of polynomial, which is higher order, and polynomial in denominator, then it is then we have to think out that how can we break up the Z of S into number of into simple impedances. Okay, so for that what can be done, whatever the polynomial I have to check it out whether PRF or not, and once if it is PRF, then I can go for the breaking it into different different impedances, which will, and then I can realize it by the use of series connections. Okay, so for that what can be done, then if I'll say that the P of S divided by Q of S, if it is like this, then what should be basically done is that you try to break up Z1, Z2, Z3 this way. There may be three cases. That one case will be you remove the pole at first, let's say infinity, okay, and once you remove the pole at infinity, and then next whatever the remainder impedance you will get it, that will be obviously PR also. Then second, you remove the pole at S is equal to 0, that at origin, and if this is the case, that will be K0 by S plus, let's say next impedance, which will be Z2 of S. Okay, the next case will be remove the simple pole at on imaginary axis, and this will be that 2 K0 S upon S square plus omega 1 square, where K0 has to be real and positive, and then you can realize it as the thing which will be parallel LC. Okay, this will be simple inductors, this will be your capacitor, and this will be your inductor. So you can realize by the combination of series and shunt way. Okay, so this way with the different example we have seen, and also we have seen that if the constant thing is there, that constant also you can remove it out. Okay, so like your resistor. Okay, so that let us see now the example on fourth, how to remove the constant. So suppose now my Z of S is like this: 6s cube plus 3s square plus 3s plus 1 divided by 6s cube plus 3s. Okay, so here denominator, I can, if I look carefully, this denominator and numerator, I saw that denominator contained in numerator. Okay, so let us divide. Then if I will divide it, then what is remaining, that is 1 plus 3s square plus 1 divided by 6s cube plus 3s. Okay, and now let us check it out whether this will be really PRF or not. That also we have to check it out. So for that we observe that this is your even polynomial numerator, and this is your odd polynomial. It is the ratio of even by odd. Okay, so this is again the ratio of even by odd, means it is purely imaginary, and if you look at here, this will be your real part of j omega. Okay, so this is real. So real part of z of j omega is greater than or equal to 0 for all omegas. So j of j omega is 1, it will be 1 for all the omegas. Okay, so better we can remove 1 from it. Okay, so now from that I can write Z of S is equal to this plus 3 square plus 1 divided by 6s cube plus, and 6s cube plus 3s, and how will be the realization? It is simple 1. So what will be the element? Element will be resistor. Okay, and then remaining will be our Z4 of S, and this will be the resistor of 1 ohm. Okay, so this way you can realize it. Now next what I have supposed to do, now this is the remaining term, which is Z4 of S, so that I can here remove the pole at origin, or other way if I'll take it the inverse of it, instead of impedance, if I'll take it the admittance, it will be 6s cube plus 3s divided by 3s square plus 1. See, either I can remove pole at origin from here, or the simplest way, you invert it, you make it into the form of impedance, which will be 6s cube plus 3s over 3s square plus 1, and from that you try to remove the pole at infinity. Okay, so if you remove the pole at infinity, what it will be, 2s plus y phi of s. Okay, so what will be y phi of s? It will be, if you are removing 3s cube plus 3s upon 3s plus 1, 2s from it. Okay, so if you remove, you will get it s upon 3s square plus 1. Okay, so this will be 2s plus s. If you solve this, that is 6s cube plus 3s minus 6s cube minus 2s. Okay, so it will be, I'll get it only 1s divided by 3s square plus 1, and then you can realize, I think, this thing. How will it be? It will be 2s plus 1 over 3s square by s, so it will be 3s plus 1 by s, and this is nothing but your impedance. Okay, which will be, I call it z phi of s. Okay, so how will be the realization? There will be the resistor like this, then this is impedance, so impedance will be, if it is, then what is the impedance? It is 2s. So sorry, not impedance, it will be now admittance, because I have inverted. So now admittance means what? It is capacitor, which value will be 2 farad. Okay, and then what is remaining? Now this is, again I am inverting, so now this will become my impedance, so it will be SL, means there will be inductor whose value is 3 Henry, and plus 1 by S means now there is the capacitor in series with 1 farad only. So this way we can realize, and this is basically RLC sort of realization. Okay, so this way, this is basically the general synthesis procedure for the realization or for the synthesis. Okay, now let us see the synthesis of one port networks with two kinds of elements. So if this is the cases, now what we'll do, we'll see the synthesis of one port network with two kind of element, that will be LC or RL or RC or etc. You can see. Right? So here we'll see LC, RL and RC specific to it. Okay. So before that, we'll start from LC emittance function. So in the last example, we have seen that Z of S, which was 1 plus 3s square plus 1 divided by 6s cube plus 3s, this was the case. This is basically the ratio of even function to odd function, or I can say maybe the ratio of odd to even. Okay, if such functions are involved, then we see that in the synthesis it will only consist of two elements that we have seen. It will only consist of two elements, which will be L and C. There will not be R contents. Okay, so it is because this is totally odd function. If I'll do the division of even by odd or odd by even, then you will get a totally odd function, and if it is odd, it will be only LC. There is no R contents. Okay, so the resultant will be this, and for that, real part of this will be real part of Z of j omega for the ratio which will be even by odd or odd by even will be always 0, as there is no R. Means what? As there is no R, means there is no power dissipation by that particular one port network. It means this is purely reactance network or reactive network. Okay, so power observed by network is 0 for the sinusoidal excitation. Then the network, we can say that it is purely reactive network, that is your LC. Okay, so this is what we are going to see here. So now we know that if it is a LC, then if it is a driving point emittance as an LC function, then we know that it is a purely reactive. Now let us see that how, if the network is LC, then driving point impedance must be odd. What we said till now, if the function is odd, then the network is LC network. Okay. we came to the conclusion that if the function is the ratio of even to odd or odd to even, then that resultant will be odd function, and if it is odd function, then its realization or its synthesis will be LC synthesis. Okay. Now next I will say that now let us see if my network is LC, then what about the driving point emittance? That driving point emittance must have to be odd. Okay, it means real part of Z of G omega will be 0. Fine. So for that we have seen that your f of s will be it is the two things, it has been partitioned, that is m1 m2 minus n1 n2 divided by m2 square minus n2 square plus n1 m2 minus m1 n2 divided by m2 square minus n2 square. Okay, so here what we can say that this is basically m1 is the even part of numerator, m2 is the even part of denominator, n1 is the odd part of numerator, n2 is the odd part of denominator. Okay, now this is even part of fs and this is your odd part of fs. Okay, now for the LC this has to be 0. Okay, means what? m1 m2 minus n1 and 2 will be equal to 0. Okay, so it means if this is the case, then I cannot write product of m1 m2 is equal to n1 n2. This is not valid. Okay, because if I will write m1 m2 as a product and if I substitute s, what will happen? This will be giving me the constant value. So at that time real part basically for this is 0, means what? Your real part of f of j omega is 0. Okay, so if I'm saying this is 0 and if I'm saying that m1 m2 has to be equal to n1 n2, so the resultant m1 m2 is even, which will be something s square s raised to 4 like this. Okay, and if I substitute the s square is omega square, s equal to j omega, or if I'll evaluate s is equal to j omega, then what will I get it? I will get all the constant term, means I will get it the real thing. Okay, which is not according to our expectation, and n1 n2 also will get it the same. So what we have to think on that what can be done so that my real part will be 0. Okay, so what it will be? So this is only possible, or only possibility is that either numerator may have even or odd polynomial, or denominator may have odd or even polynomial. So there will be two possibilities for real part of f of j omega equal to 0. Okay, so what are the two possibilities for this? m1 plus n1 divided by m2 plus n2, that is our actual decomposition. Okay, so here what I will do, this real part is possible only when even part is 0 from numerator and odd part is 0 from denominator. Okay, so m1 is 0 and n2 is 0, or second possibility may be this is 0, or second possibility may be the odd part from numerator is 0 and even part from denominator is 0. So if odd numerator is 0 and even part from the denominator is 0, then it is possible. But if n1 is also 0 and n2 is also 0, so ultimately your LC impedance will be 0. Okay, so then no function exists there. Okay, so to have the real part of j omega, or to have the LC impedance function, what should be the case? It should be the ratio of either even by odd, or let us say this will be what I said, m1, no? So it will be either m1 is 0, means it will be either the ratio of odd to even, or it will be either the ratio of even to odd, that way. Okay, fine. So the condition for that real part of z of j omega is equal to 0 is that, this is simple, can you remember? That is From that, in numerator n1 should exist, and in denominator m2 should exist, or m2 or m1 will exist. So in denominator what will happen, and 2 will exist, that way. Okay, so that what will happen, it is the ratio of even or odd or even. So ultimately resultant will be my odd function. Okay, means what, driving point emittance or LC emittance function will be odd. Okay, so you can say LC impedance or LC driving point admittance must be the ratio of even by odd or odd by even. So it will be either the ratio of even to odd or odd to even, so that it is a rational function. Okay, so again we conclude that the driving point emittance of LC network is odd rational function. Also there should be the restriction, there must be the restriction on the degree of numerator and denominator. And what will be that restriction, that the order of or the degree of numerator and denominator differ by at most 1. There should not be multiple poles on the j omega axis. Okay. Also both even and odd must be Hurwitz polynomial. And third is root must lie on j omega axis, which will be a simple pole. Okay. So in LC function, all poles generally will lie on the j omega axis only, and that whatever the pole will lie, that will be simple. There should not be multiplicity. Okay. And also residues of the LC function must have to be real and positive. Okay. So in summary, what should be the case? Your impedance or LC impedance, that is degree of, in this degree of numerator will not be equal to degree of denominator. Okay, so degree of numerator will not be equal to degree of denominator. So if this is the case, then what will happen, it will not be the ratio of even by odd. This is not satisfied. Okay, so for that your degree has to be differ by 1. Okay, then second, you can say if degree of numerator say m is greater than degree of denominator by 1, means what, if m is greater than n plus 1, or if not greater, but if m is equal to say n plus 1, okay, then what will happen, there will be the pole exist at s is equal to infinity. This is the second point. Third point, what we conclude, if the degree of denominator is greater than degree of numerator by 1, means suppose degree of denominator will be equal to m plus 1, which will be greater than by 1 to the degree of numerator, then what we can say, there is a pole at origin, s is equal to 0. Okay, and again there will be the pole on j omega axis. Okay, so the LC impedance function, pole are 0 at infinity, pole are 0 at origin also, when it is the ratio of m1 and n2, for example. So suppose now ZLC, I can write m1 is the even polynomial in numerator, and n2 is the odd polynomial in denominator. Suppose now let me write the numerator polynomial m1 is order 6. So suppose a0, a2s square, a2s raised to 4 plus a6s raised to 6. Remember, there should not be any missing term. And n2 I can write as b naught s plus b1 s cube plus b7 s raised to 7. Okay, so there should not be any missing coefficient, remember. Okay, otherwise this is not Hurwitz polynomial. Okay, so this should be the condition. And now let us write the general LC impedance, or general, you say the LC admittance, driving point admittance. So suppose let me write the driving point impedance for LC network, which will be say constant s into s square plus omega 1 square, s square plus omega 3 square, like this, and divided by suppose s square plus omega 2 square, s square plus omega 4 square, like this. Okay, so this, how can we write this, can be make it generalized as numerator polynomial by denominator polynomial, where degree of numerator say degree of numerator will be equal to degree of denominator plus 1. Means what? The function has the pole at infinity. Okay. Now suppose I'll take it the general thing where I have the pole at 0, that is pole at infinity, pole at 0, pole at 0, pole at infinity, and pole at plus minus j omega 2, plus minus j omega 4, etc. Okay. So again with this the generalized polynomial I can write as z of s, which will be equal to k into s square plus omega 1 square, s square plus omega 3 square, like this. So here degree of numerator is greater by 1 than that of degree of denominator. So if I'll say s square plus omega square 2n plus 1. Okay. So what about in the denominator? It will be s square plus omega 2 square, s square plus omega 4 square, like this. It will be s square plus omega square 2n. Okay. So pole will, if this is the case, then again this is odd, no? So it will be s. Okay. So here I can say poles will be at s is equal to 0 first, then second will be pole at s is equal to infinity, and third pole will be at, simple pole will be at j omega 2 plus minus j omega 4, etc. Okay. And this also can be written in the partial fraction expansion as there is pole at 0, so suppose k0 by s, then there is the simple pole, so suppose 2k2s upon s square plus omega 2 square, and let me write 2k2 is k2 only to avoid the confusion. Then this is k4s over s square plus omega 4 square, like this, plus say kns over s square plus omega n square plus k infinity into s, that will be pole at infinity. Okay. So we can write it this way. Now after that find out the residues. So what will be the residue? That is k naught. It will be just multiply s with your z of s and evaluate at s is equal to 0. So basically here when you are finding out the residue at s is equal to 0, so you take it the lower power of s from numerator, divide lower power of it from denominator, whatever the quotient you will get, that is not resultant, that is nothing but the residue at s is equal to 0. Okay. Then next you calculate the residue at infinity. So this is also, you multiply by 1 by s or divide highest power of s by highest power of s in denominator. Okay, this is in numerator and this is in denominator, and then this will be your basically residue at s tends to infinity. Okay, and all other term will be vanished. This is the residue at infinity. Okay, or you can simply 1 by s into z of s, you evaluate at s is equal to infinity, that way. Then next you evaluate k2, k4, k, like this, which will be the residue for the constant, for the simple pole on j omega axis. So that will be, you can multiply by s square into omega 2 square into the resultant is z by s upon s, and this you evaluated s square is equal to minus omega square. Why? Because this s will get it cancelled with the residue wherever it is coming, so that you will get it simply k2. Okay, or 2k2 then z by 2s, like this. Okay, k2 only we will use now onwards. So this is basically most general form of LC, driving point emittance. Okay, similarly it is valid for admittances also. Okay, so in admittances what will happen? This will become the 0 at infinity, 0 at origin, and 0 at on j omega axis, like this. Okay, So now with this whole part, let me write in z of s, which will be one pole is at origin, then there will be the additions of, let's say, I is equal to 1 to n, and what it will be ki is divided by s square plus omega I square plus pole at infinity. These are the removals of different poles, and here there will be n plus 2 poles. One will be at origin, one will be at infinity. Okay, so there are two special terms for names for the poles. So the pole which is at s is equal to 0 and s is equal to infinity, they are called as external poles, and the poles which are at s square is equal to minus omega s square, these are your internal poles. Okay, these are the terminologies. Okay, now with this, if I'll evaluate, let me evaluate in frequency domain this whatever the reactance or impedance we have written. So let me evaluate this at s is equal to j omega. So if I'll evaluate at s is equal to j omega, what I will get, z of j omega will be equal to k0 upon j omega plus addition from I is equal to 1 to I j ki into j omega divided by s square, means what, your my omega I square, okay, minus omega square, then plus k infinity j omega. So j I will take it common, so it will be j, you will get it minus k0 upon omega, because j was in denominator, that I shifted to numerator. This is the reason minus sign came here, plus addition I is equal to 1 to I ki omega divided by omega I square minus omega square plus k infinity omega. Okay, so you can say this is purely reactance. Okay, so z of this is impedance will be reactance, j of x of omega. Now let us check it out, how is the slope of this reactance. Okay, so now my reactance x of omega is minus k naught upon omega plus addition from I is equal to 1 to I ki omega upon omega I square minus omega square plus k naught omega. Okay, so if I would like to find out the slope, so you differentiate with respect to omega. So if you differentiate with respect to omega, dx omega by d omega, what you will get it here k0 by omega square. Okay, what about the differentiation here? So differentiation of, let's say I will put it ki omega divided by omega I square minus omega square. So it is second is derivative of u upon v. So second function, which is omega I square minus omega square, into derivative of first, which is ki, or say 2 ki whole I will write. Okay, say 2 ki, then second function into derivative of first minus first function into derivative of second, which is minus 2 omega. Okay, and this will be, if you solve, it will be 2 ki omega I square minus 2 ki omega square and plus 4 ki omega square. Okay, and if I will not write 2, then what would have been happened? By both the way we will see, it will be what, ki omega I square minus ki omega square, and this will be plus 2 ki omega square. Okay, so this will be what now? It will be 2 ki omega square and 2 ki omega square, so it will be ki omega square. Okay, so the definition, what will be the differentiation? It will be in numerator, it will be omega square ki, I will take it ki as common, so it will be omega I square plus omega square. Okay, because ki omega square minus ki omega square, it will give me ki omega square, and this is ki omega square, 2 ki omega square, and this is minus ki omega square, so it is plus ki omega square. Sorry, this is what, 2 ki omega square minus ki omega square, so I can write ki omega I square plus ki omega square, which will be ki omega square plus omega I square, or if you will write 2, it will be 2 times ki omega square I square. I'll write ki. I'll try to avoid 2 from it. Okay, so if this is the thing, then k0 upon omega square plus, what is the derivative here, it will be I is equal to 1 to n ki omega square plus omega I square divided by omega I square minus omega square whole square, okay, divided by this, I have forgotten here, raised to minus 2, so it will be omega I square minus omega square whole square. Okay, and this will be for all the terms, and the resultant will be for the last differentiation, it is simply k infinity. Okay, so what is it? In short, reactance I have taken the differentiation, I got it this, which will be, let me write again, k0 omega square plus it will be additions of all the poles which are lying on imaginary axis, so omega square plus that omega I square divided by omega I square minus omega square whole square and plus k infinity. Now if we look it, what will happen with omega I square minus omega square, this will be obviously greater than 0. Okay, what about here, first term, this is also greater than 0 and this is constant term. Okay, so what will be the slope of x of omega? So the slope or the differentiation of reactance with respect to omega is always greater than 0, means it is always positive. So this is a very important property for LC impedance function, driving point impedance function, right? So what is the important property? That slope of reactance function is always strictly positive. Okay, if slope is 0, then what will happen? This x of omega is identically 0. Okay, so function is identically 0, you can say. Now let us draw the reactance sketch on it. So for that, how to draw it? So suppose I will take x of omega is now ki omega divided by omega I square minus omega square. Okay, so let us plot this function as x of omega with omega. Okay, so suppose this is my omega I, this pole is omega I here. Okay, so what you can say, that when omega is less than omega I, then what about x of omega? In this case, x of omega will be positive. Okay, and when omega is greater than omega I, then what will happen with reactance? X of omega will become negative. Okay, and when omega equal to omega I, then what about x of omega? It will be infinite at that particular frequency. Okay, so if I would like to draw, and I also know that slope is positive, so how can we draw this sketch? Before omega less than omega I, it will be positive and it is going towards infinity as omega tends to omega I, and similarly when omega is greater than omega I, then what will happen? Slope is positive but it is x of omega is negative. Okay, so this way will be the reactance sketch for simple pole. Now let me draw the same reactance sketch for the pole at origin. If x of omega will be equal to k naught by s, okay, or x of k naught by j omega, or minus k upon omega. So for that, let us draw the reactance curve as the function of omega. So this is basically x of omega and pole is at omega is equal to 0, and what will happen at pole at omega is equal to 0? I'll get it the infinite magnitude, which is minus infinity. Okay, and as omega goes on increasing, what will happen? This will be 0. Okay, so this reactance curve for this factor, which is S at origin, will be like this. Okay, and for infinity you can break it and it will be always for infinity. This is infinite magnitude. Okay, so suppose now I have the reactance x of omega is like this, which is j minus k omega naught. Now it is minus k upon omega naught, right? Minus k upon omega naught plus suppose k2 omega 2 divided by, now this is omega 2 square minus omega square plus k4 omega divided by omega 4 square minus omega square plus, again let us take it 1, k6 omega divided by omega 6 square minus omega square plus k infinity. This is my reactance and I would like to draw its sketch. So how will be the reactance sketch here? On this way, this is omega. Okay, this is my x of omega. We want to derive one important property from it, that is the reason we are drawing. So what are the pole? One pole is at origin, second pole is at omega is equal to omega 2, third pole is say at omega is equal to omega 4, next will be at omega is equal to 6, and one is infinity, so somewhere here. Okay, now I would like to draw the sketch which we have drawn individually. So what will be for pole at origin? So as omega increasing, first it will be infinity. Okay, then it will go like this. Okay, something like this. Fine. Then let us draw the reactance for omega 2, reactance curve for omega 4, reactance sketch for omega 6, and obviously for at infinity. It's not straight line. Okay, now for omega 2, what is it? It will be infinite omega at omega is equal to omega 2. So how will be the sketch? It will be positive when omega is less than omega 2. It will be negative when omega is greater than omega 2. So it will come like this. Okay, something like this. For omega 4, again it will be positive when omega is less than omega 4 and negative it will be when omega is greater than omega 4. That way will be the sketch. Basically this is a tangent type of curve, you will get it here and same way here. Okay, and at infinity something like this. Okay, so here what is happening, if I would like to draw the total resultant, so all omega equal to 0, omega to omega, all will be critical frequencies. So we can see here that when omega is greater than 0, x of omega must start from negative, and when omega is less than omega 2, this curve must cross omega at 0. Okay, so there will be definitely 0 crossing between somewhere between this pole and this pole. Okay, so this has to be crossed the line, so this will be like this. Okay, there has to be 0 crossing while going the curve from this omega is equal to omega greater than 0 to omega 2. Again after crossing omega 2, the curve is again going, and if omega is greater than omega 2, then it has to cross and it has to reach to next pole. Similarly for after omega 4, it will go like this, and then it has to cross the 0 and reach to omega 6. Similarly for here also like this, and then it will be that way. Okay, so what I want to say that when there will be two poles, so for that if I'll draw the reactance curve, what will happen? must have to cross the omega axis, okay, and that crossing is nothing but your zero crossing. So definitely there must have to be zero between the two poles, okay. So this is one zero and this is second zero, third zero likewise, okay. So from here we can conclude that in your LC emittance function, okay, this is your LC driving point emittance function, there must have to be alternate poles and zeros, okay. As we observe here that if I want to go from one pole to other pole location, then curve must have to cross zero, that is the next critical frequency at omega 1, okay. So I will say this is omega 1, omega 2, now this is omega 3, omega 4, this is omega 4, so it is omega 5, like this, okay. So there must be the presence of 0 at omega is equal to omega n, and this is basically a critical frequencies when omega greater than omega 2. Again there must be 0 at omega 3, between omega 3 to between there must be 0 at omega 3, right. So that way it should happen, okay. So these are the critical frequencies for the LC driving point emittance. So LC driving point emittance, pole in LC driving point emittance, ZLC or YLC, the poles and zeros must alternate, and this is very important property. Now if suppose instead of pole, if assume that there is no pole at S is equal to 0, at S is equal to infinity, so I am assuming that there is a 0 at origin, suppose for example here, and then what should happen, there should be pole, then there should be 0, there should be pole, like this for LC driving point impedance, okay. This is omega, this is x of omega, and now if I'll draw it, now what will happen, curve should start from here, it will go like this, then from here it will be like this, like tangent way, this way, here also this will be, and go somewhere to next critical frequency wherever it exists, okay. This is smooth curve basically. Okay, so similarly this is true for admittance also, okay. So y of j omega will be equal to j, there it was the reactance, here it will be susceptance, okay. And here also dB of omega with respect to omega will be always greater than 0, okay. So this also one more very important property of LC impedance. So let us summarize the properties of the LC impedance. Properties of LC driving point impedance, LC admittance or impedance, okay. So first property is that LC driving point impedance or LC driving point admittance is the ratio of even to odd or odd to even, okay. Then next property says that the poles and zeros must be simple, okay, must be simple and lie on j omega axis. This is second property. Third property says that poles and zeros must alternate or interlace, where on j omega axis. This is also important. Then fourth property is that the highest power of numerator, okay, highest power of numerator, let's say m1 I will say, highest power of numerator and the denominator, they must differ by 1. Similarly the lowest power of numerator and lowest power of denominator must differ by 1, means the degree of numerator must be equal to degree of denominator plus 1 for the higher order as well as for the lower order also. Then next there must be either a pole or zero at origin and infinity, okay. So there must be pole at infinity or at 0 and or. Okay, so these are basically 5 important properties of LC driving point emittance. Okay, now with this let us check it out whether it is really LC emittance function or not, LC driving point emittance function or not. So suppose Z of S is k into s square plus 4 divided by s square plus 1 and s square plus 3. Okay, so you can say that this is not LC. Why? Because the poles and zeros are not interlaced, are not alternate here. Because see here, the pole is 1, pole is at 1, second pole is at 3, and 0 is at 4. So this is not correct. So no interlace of poles and zeros. Okay, then if next is given, suppose next impedance or emittance is s raised to 5 plus 4s cube plus 5s divided by 3s raised to 4 plus 6s square. Okay, so this is also not LC. Why? Because there is a missing term. Okay, so if there is a missing term, this is not Hurwitz at all, and because of it there will be the multiple pole lie on the j omega axis. Third, if z of s is k into s square plus 1, then s square plus 9, then it will be s square plus 2 and s square plus 10. So it is also not LC because it is the ratio of even by even. Okay, but it has to be the ratio of even by odd. Okay, next if it is z of s will be 2s square plus 1 s square plus 9, then s into s square plus 4, so it is the ratio of m by n, correct. Then zeros and 1 alternate, so this is your LC function. Okay, so this is LC function, and now it is, we can realize or we can synthesize it. Okay, so with this we stop here. We'll continue from this in the next class. Thank you.